Hi friends, welcome to my not a sewing video. Kind of sewing, but not really. I am Emily and I am sick. I had a big weekend of Halloween outings and parties and get-togethers, and I am sick now. One of my friends tested positive for COVID after one of the Halloween parties, so hopefully it's not COVID. I did test for COVID yesterday, and it came out negative. So hopefully it's not COVID. I'm gonna test again tonight to check. Um, Sorry. It started on Sunday. I started feeling like this, kind of a little bit of pain and like a tickle in my throat right here on Sunday, and now I have like a full-blown sinus infection, and you can hear how congested I am, and I've got like a little scratchy and cough in my throat. It's super fun. Love being sick. Luckily it's parent-teacher conferences, so I actually don't really work the next few days anyway. So being sick couldn't have come at a better time, I guess. I realized that my videos are just like my vlogs are just not as regular as they used to be, and I'm sorry. I've been struggling a little bit. I've been struggling with just being really tired with my new job. The majority of the time, sorry, I'm sick. Did I mention I'm sick? I'm losing my train of thought. Most of the time, I am repeatedly requested for the special education preschool, which I love. It is very, very hard, but I also love it. But I spend all day like up and down, like squatting down by the kids, sitting in little tiny children chairs, grabbing kids to stop them from doing something dangerous, from putting something in their mouth, from biting other children, from biting me. I have been bitten like 5 times now. If it doesn't really like get too far into the skin, I don't worry about it. I mean, it's just all day, constant go, 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 go. And by the time I get home, I am floored, because I went from like no activity to like, oh, so much activity. In fact, when I do pick up another subbing job for like 2nd grade or, 5th grade or whatever, I consider it like a break, like a restful break. But I really do love subbing for the special education, so it's not a hardship. It's been taking a lot out of me, and so I haven't been as regular with my vlogs because half the time I forget what day it is, or I'm just like, oh, I'm too tired, it's already midnight and I totally forgot to do my vlog, stuff like that. So I apologize. Hopefully I will get more used to the pace and the activity of my job, and we'll get back on track. Ooh, did you see that? Train of thought, back on track. Didn't even plan that. Amazing. Even when I'm sick and like can't focus, I can like bring the train analogy from the station to the... Moving on. I made a costume. I know. You don't actually believe me, but if you follow me on Instagram, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because how in the world did you find me here if you don't follow me on Instagram? You'd have to like randomly be searching for like the word sucky. Why are you searching for the word sucky on YouTube? Anyway, it's my first time doing the 1830s, and I'm sorry I don't have a dress form. If you remember, my dress form died. So, This is my beautiful 1830s dress. Go to my YouTube and you'll see some pictures and stuff. I'll be posting more this week from the spooky shoot event that we did. Because it was my first dress, I went with an easier silhouette. I used the Truly Victorian pattern. I don't have a lot of the undergarments made, so like the sleeve poof things that you wear on your upper arms to help keep the sleeves out. I haven't made those yet. So I sewed crinoline into the sleeve so it helps keep it poofed out, which worked fairly well. I mean, this was laying down flat and you can see how the sleeve is just kind of keeping its shape. I did the ruching in the front and I just did gathering. Now, in the pattern, it talks about cartridge pleating, or it talks about like doing like knife pleats or, you know, other types of pleating. I looked at some extant dresses and I looked at some fashion plates and stuff, and I decided that the easiest, quickest thing, because I needed it for an event for me to do, would be to just gather it. This is not going to be my first 1830s dress. We'll go into that in a minute. And I felt that the gathering would just be quick and easy, and depending on how well you do your gathers, they almost look cartridge pleated. So I did do piping along the edge of the sleeves, along the shoulder ridge, along the neckline. I had originally done piping at the waist when I had to rip the waist out and redo it. I've had to redo the bodice several times. When I redid the waist, I forgot to put the piping back in, so that needs to be fixed. Also, I ran out of fabric. So the back of the dress is a completely different fabric. It's just this fake dark gray fake dupioni that I had that I decided would be fine in a pinch, and I just quickly sewed in some lacing tape to finish the dress. But no one at the event really saw that because, hang on one sec. I have this beautiful Sontag. It's something like that. Anyway, it is a shawl that I got at a colonial festival event. These were really, really popular from the 1700s through the like 1860s. They were really, really popular, and they're these really big shawls that come down into a point and have really long edges. And then what you do is you put the shawl on, cross it in front of you, and then you wrap the long edges behind you and tie them. And that's how the women could keep this part of them warm, but have their arms free to like do work or to talk or to do their sewing or whatever they wanted to do. So what I did is I wore it a little differently because the waist was all messed up on my dress and the back's all messed up. So I kind of bunched up this onto the shoulders, made it long in the back, and then I wore a black ribbon belt here around the waist on the green dress, so that this covered up the messed up front waist of my dress, and in the back, that whole back section was covered up by this shawl. You can see that in my pictures that I'm posting on Instagram. I've already posted, I think, one or two. I'm going to be posting more. So I was ready to go to the event. I hopped in my car. I was reaching over to put stuff on the side seat, and both the backs of my sleeves ripped out. So I was like, oh no! And I jumped out of my car to run into the house, stepped on my hem, and ripped out the front of the dress from the waist. At that point, I was like, I'm not going. But I made a commitment. So I got back into my house and I quickly sewed the sleeves back into place, sewed the waist back into place, but not well. You can see some of the stitches, the under stitches that I had done. So this shawl idea just covered so many problems. But and it was hilarious. I showed up at the event and people are looking my dress over and they're like, what is going on with the bottom of your dress? And I'm like, oh, you mean, I don't know if you can see this. Ow. I'm like, you mean all of the straight pins? The very dangerous, sharp straight pins holding the hem? That's because when I got back into the house after pulling out the, I'm bleeding. After pulling out the sleeves in the front of the dress, I realized the hem was way too long, which is funny because usually I make the hem too short by accident on my costumes. I don't know why. They're always a little too short. So this time I think I way overcompensated and it was too long. So I hacked off the bottom of the dress and I was like, I don't have time to hem this all nicely and prettily. But because it's a faux silk taffeta. So it's not real silk taffeta, but it's a really good faux silk. Like, it looks really good. Like, you wouldn't know that it was faux until you come up and touch it. It moves and looks like the real thing, which I love. I didn't want there to be a badly done hem that I'd then have to unpick and there'd be all these, little dotted lines in there. So I stuck pins in the hem. It turned out looking okay. It looked fine. It looked fine for the spooky shoot. Obviously, I'm going to fix some things. I was moving my sewing table with Handsome Hubby because the little kind of space underneath my sewing table, because it's got 3 kind of shelves around it, and so there's a space in the middle, is where I store my Christmas and holiday and Thanksgiving and stuff decorations. So I was trying to pull out some of those, and I saw where a bunch of fabrics, some patterns, all sorts of stuff has fallen underneath my sewing table. So I need to make like a little skirting or something that will help keep stuff from getting under my sewing table. And I found some fabric. So between it was scrap fabric, because I have used this fabric for another project several years ago. So the scrap fabric from that project was under the sewing table. So between what I hacked off the bottom of the dress and that scrap fabric, I was able to refashion 2 new backs for this dress. Obviously there is a seam line that normally would not be on the back of the dress. It's not part of the pattern, but unfortunately none of the scrap pieces were quite the right size to get the full piece out of it. So I had to compromise and put in a seam, but I feel like that looks better than a completely different fabric on the back of the dress. So I'm going to be replacing those back panels and then completely redoing, the hook and eye tape. I need to unpick the front of the bodice where it attaches to the skirt and reattach it a little nicer so it doesn't show the stay stitches from when I gathered the skirt. There's a little Oh, and I want to add piping there. The sleeves need a little bit of assistance. And the hem needs to be done, but the dress is basically like, it was wearable, which was fun. And there's very few things that need to be done to it, which is nice. So completely off the making of the dress, the wearing of the dress was so fun. There is something about the poof skirt and these giant sleeves. It makes you feel like your waist is tiny because, you know, your sleeves are going out to here and your skirt is going out to here and your waist feels like it's going into here. And it's just so fun having these big blousey sleeves. I wore this big black hat. I didn't have time to make the bonnet that I wanted to make, but I decided that I had this big black hat that I was given at costume college by a friend who had used it for a class that she was teaching, and it had a bunch of tulle and stuff on it, and so I added some big black bow ribbons to it, and then put some on the underside where the hat flips up, and just put it on the back of my head and then put curls down the sides. And it looked like one of the hats in a fashion plate. Because in some of the fashion plates for the 1830s, you don't get to see quite what the back of the hat looks like. And on some of them, the backs of the hats don't look that big. So I was just going with it. You know, sometimes you have to go with that minimal thing. You know, most of them are like the big bonnets and stuff. But every now and then you'll find that one thing that's not quite like everything else in that time period. Sometimes you have to go with that just to make things work. I think the whole outfit turned out really well. I am actually really looking forward to doing another 1830s. I want to do like a day dress in like a soft cotton print. I think that would be really fun, really pretty, and something that I'd feel really comfortable like frolicking in. If it's ends up sprinkling or the grass is wet or something, I won't care. Whatever, you know, where even with faux taffetas, you have to worry about how much like water and whatnot is getting on it because it can stain. So I think a lovely cotton print 1830s dress is in my future. Also, if you are planning, I know I'm already starting this. I'm sorry. I'm already starting. If you are planning on going to the Port Townsend Victorian Heritage Festival 2024, there is a group of us who are going to do 1830s outfits for Saturday. Please feel free to make an 1830s outfit for Saturday. I think it would be great to just flood the whole town with 1830s dresses, you know, all over the whole town. And closer to the event, I think we might do a meetup somewhere downtown where we could maybe get some pictures of all of us in our 1830s awesomeness. And it doesn't have to be something grand or anything. I mean, a lovely 1830s day, you know, cotton day dress is perfect. We're doing day dresses. There is the dance that night, the country dance that they do that night. And if you want to make like a separate top, a separate bodice, evening bodice for your day dress that you could switch to and wear that evening for the dance, there's an idea. Then you have less to pack. You just pack 2 bodices in 1 skirt. Ooh. So yeah, putting it out there. Saturday of the Victorian Heritage Festival next year, I believe in April, at the end of April, I think. Yeah, 1830 Saturday. So, future projects. I always think that I can get like 2 or 3 sewing projects done in a month, and you know what? I just can't. if I can get one done, I feel really lucky. I don't know why that's who I am, but I need to start accepting that that is who I am. I would like to get that plaid coat that I had started done, because I don't actually have like a really good, like comfy winter coat. I have a rain jacket and I have I have a really thin coat, but I really need like a nice soft winter coat. So I'd like to get this done. We'll see if that happens. I'm trying to decide if I want to work on one of my like autumn projects still, or if I just want to move on to December, to winter projects. It's kind of up in the air. I need to figure out what events are coming up, what events I'm going to as well. I have an SCA event I'm going to this Saturday. It's the first one I've gone to in a while, and gonna get the feel of my local SCA group and see how, you know, how that pans out. Need to dress handsome hubby up, see how he feels about that. You know, if you're not familiar with the SCA, it's the Society of Creative Anachronism. They're groups, they're all over the world, and they dress up and study and practice arts from like the beginning of time, not the beginning of time, but like Middle Ages, I think, through the end of the Renaissance. When I played years ago, it was like 1603 was the cutoff. Like when Queen Elizabeth died, or was it 1601? Can't remember. Anyway, when Queen Elizabeth died, which was like the beginning of the 1600, was the cutoff. But I have seen in like a local group that they like go to like almost 1620. So I don't know if it's like you can determine by group now, or if the whole thing's changed. I don't know. I started out in the SCA way back in 2003, and I have been like on, off. I started off as a heavy fighter, which is where you have a big old shield and a big wooden stick, and you wear a bunch of armor and you just hit people, because back then I needed an outlet, big old outlet for things. And then in 2006, I got knocked unconscious during a battle, and it scared the crap out of me, and I stopped heavy fighting. I have done a couple of different things. In one of my past groups, I started a theatrical guild. I've been part of the choral group. I've tried my hand at black work, which is kind of a needlepoint from the Elizabethan era. All sorts of different things. Something I love is everyone dresses up. You can create a persona. But I love the learning is what I really love. I love learning about new things. I love learning about history. And of course, it gives me the opportunity to dress up and run amok with other people who are dressed up and running amok. Also, during the warmer weather, they do camping events, which can be so fun. So fun to walk into a camping event and see all of these like medieval looking tents, you know, and people set up these authentic looking campsites and stuff. And those with more modern tents tend to put theirs like back behind all the nicer looking ones to keep kind of the ambiance of the Middle Ages looking, or the Renaissance looking good. Those camping events can be so fun. So I don't know. I see the SCA as kind of, do not let me, okay, no, I can't say that out loud. I'm going to say it out loud. please do not be offended. Please do not be offended. I see the SCA as kind of like organized religion. I feel like when people are raised in an organized religion, even if they decide they don't believe in it and they leave it or whatever, it's always like there. It's always a part of them. They always know about it. They're always aware of it. Sometimes they're like, maybe I'll go back for this, or maybe I'll give it another shot, or maybe, you know, I kind of see it like that, like almost like it's an organized religion, because I know so many people who are like me, who are like, oh yeah, the SCA. I've been in the SCA a couple of times, and it keeps like drawing them back because they remember the stuff they really liked about it, you know, and you know, when life gets too busy and they can't do it anymore, or whatever the reason is that they stopped, you know, you stop doing it, and then later on, you're like, oh yeah, the SCA, yeah, oh hey, that was fun. Oh, I wonder what the local group is. I wonder what's going on. Maybe I'll do it again. It reminds me of organized religion. Please do not take offense to that. I mean it in the best of sense. Oh my gosh. I cannot breathe at all. What else? There was a third thing. The 1830s dress, future projects. There was a third thing. I don't remember. If I remember, I'll just post on Instagram. Anyway, thanks for watching, my friend followers. I think it's kind of amazing that you're still along for the ride. It makes me feel really like connected, and I hope it makes you feel connected too. I really like hearing about what you're working on. I really like your comments. Sometimes I have trouble feeling disconnected to the costuming community in general, because people are like, I'm gonna make something. 3 hours later, look, I made this. Or they're like, I'm gonna make this big elaborate thing, and 2 days later, here's my video on how I made this. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, a month later, maybe I have some of that done. And I know I'm just like, I feel like I'm the little engine that could, you know, trying to get up the hill. So sometimes I have a hard time connecting, like, with the costuming community. I just feel like I'm so behind, and I'm so... And occasionally, my very well-meaning friends will make comments to me about, you know, are you going to make that? Are you going to get it done? Are you going to be on time to the event? Are you going to, you know, and I'm just like, sheesh, I'm sorry. You know, in the car, on the way to the spooky shoot for this event that I wore this 1830 dress to, I was like crying, and I was like, I'm done. I'm no more costuming. I'm going to sell everything. I'm not going to any more events. I'm not doing any more things. I'm done. I'm tired of like missing deadlines and not getting things done and disappointing my friends. And then I was like, okay, shut up. Of course you love this, and you love dressing up, and the best way for you to be able to dress up, the means to the end, is for you to sew it. So you're not going to give up. But sometimes I get really, really disheartened by just my lack of ability, and I get really, my friends are always like, we'll help you. You know, let us know you're struggling. Let us help you. But I get really embarrassed. I get really embarrassed that things that I'm sure are very easy and make so much sense to them when they're sewing are harder for me. I mean, I can't sew a straight line on my sewing machine. Let me get closer and tell you that again. I can't sew a straight line on my sewing machine. I don't know how people do it. I watch those videos on YouTube where they're like, boo, 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 with their fabric. And they're not even like really guiding it or anything. And just straight line after straight line. I'm like, what the heck? I have to like put one hand behind and one hand in front. And I'm like, come on, straight line, straight line. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I cut corners all the time because sometimes I just don't know better. And other times it just takes me so long to do things that seem to take other people not so long. So, thank you for staying with me. Thank you for validating my desire to share my journey, as hard as it is, with others. Because I keep thinking, even if there's like 2 people out there who are like, oh my gosh, that's exactly like me. I can't get anything done. And I feel like I suck so much at sewing. And oh my gosh, you're just like me. Then you are my people. I would make these videos just for you 2 people. Because I don't care about like millions of followers. I care about connecting. That's what I want to do. I just want to connect with people who get something out of my videos, who feel like we're kindred spirits, because Anne of Green Gables is like my spirit person, that we're kindred spirits. So yeah, keep it up. Comment. Feel free to ask me questions. If you ever are like, you know what she should do? She should do this. She should do a video about this. Or she should make this costume. I think this would be great for her. Or she should comment, message me. I'm on Instagram, The Sucky Seamstress. You know, I have an email address. It's thesuckyseamstress@gmail. I'm here. I'm here, people. I am here. I can't help you sew, but I can help you deal with not sewing or being crappy at sewing. I'm going to go take some medicine and lay down and yeah, because my head is spinning, and find where I put the COVID tests and hopefully not have COVID. We shall see. And I will try my darndest to make sure that I am here for you next Wednesday. I'm going to put a reminder on my calendar. Hey, have you done your video? Because it helps me stay accountable too. So that's good. I need to be held accountable for not getting things done. Yeah. I'm still missing some. I'll think about it later. Okay. Bye, friends. Bye.